Welcome back to the LCS Academy, powered
Are you
by
okay?
Verizon. I think Magical has had a little bit of change of face, maybe a change of scenery. I think it's done you good.
Less facial
I think it's
hair.
done you good, Magical. Yeah, less facial hair, but with more added to Joshi, just transferring it a little bit. But here we are in between the second series of the day. It was an interesting game number one to our second series itself. Evil Geniuses had me in some parts. I'm not going to say the first half, but had me in some parts, and then 100 Thieves were just like, no, all right, well, we're just going to play the game. So, very, very, want to have a very in-depth conversation about that after this, but we got to have some fun first. And it's another episode of Duos Lingo, and bringing you guys back for it. The first time,
we were not good at this.
So well, all right? It did not go so well. But this time, we're going to see if we can improve. It's been weeks. We had the off week. You know, everything's working out here. So, with Duos Lingo, we just watched a game, right? There's a lot of things in that game.
We did? Yep.
I'm going to ask you guys the first thing that comes to mind when we think about that first game. It's going to be one word. You guys are both going to say your words. If they're not the same word, well, we gotta resolve that difference. If they are the same word, well, then I'm gonna have to give you a different set of scenarios or something. But we are trying to get to the same word, so you guys are on the same page. Your synergy is in sync, and we all know what happened in game number one. So I'll give you a couple seconds here to think of a word that you think of when you think about that first game of the series.
I have one that I think Josh might choose, but I also might be completely wrong.
It's what you think. Don't think what they think. Think what you think.
It's okay. I can't get into Magical's head anyway, so I'm not
sure. It's very, hush hush. All right, you gotta have a certain invite, the golden ticket, some would say.
You ready?
But yeah, let's hear what are your first words.
Do we say it at the same time?
What do you got, Magical? Just he already said it. What do you got?
Wait, what was his?
No, just say yours.
Say your word. Huh?
Package.
Long package. Okay, well,
I don't know if we're allowed to unite.
We're gonna tie this to League of Legends because it was a very long game, very very long game. And package because Joshi had some very interesting thoughts on Jimmy's Corky packages.
Yeah.
So.
Look, I didn't
how do we tie this together? In terms of League of Legends that we just watched, what could possibly be the link here between these two?
I have one.
I have one. I
think everybody has one at this point.
I'm not allowed to say it on stream.
Well, it's supposed to pertain to League of Legends.
It does pertain to League of Legends, in fact, Lennon.
All right.
Well, I'm going to need a PG response here in the next 5 seconds.
Okay. You ready? On 3?
3, 2, 1. Scaling.
Large. Okay.
All right. We're cooking with gas, baby. We're cooking with gas.
Do you know the team that Wolverine is on? It's large. Do you know their motto?
No.
Large length gives us strength. That's how they won their game against 100 Thieves Next. If you don't believe me, you guys need to watch earlier in the week on the Academy stream.
True.
We got it. Large scaling.
All right.
Gotta bring it back to League of Legends.
Gotta bring it back to League of Legends. So large, I'm thinking of the builds. You're large and in charge because you got a lot of items. And scaling is.
All right, I got it.
Scaling, I guess. All right, you got a word, Magical. Are you ready?
Right,
you guys got to tie this together. We got to get on the same page. I'm not going to let you guys cast together if you can't get the same word. It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
You ready?
What's your word?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
On 3, 1.
Late.
Oh, I was going to say dragons. But...
Late dragons. Late dragons.
Large
okay.
and scaling.
We're getting very far away from wherever that was leading us.
Well, no, okay. We got late dragon. This is easy.
All right.
The last one. Let's see what you got. Late dragon.
1, 2, 3.
Elder. Yep.
Yes!
There we go.
They did. Everybody, we need you to give a round of applause. They are allowed to cast together again. Oh my goodness. I can't believe what growth. No. In all actuality, we're about development. We're about growth, but seeing growth between you two guys, that brings a tear to my eye. Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping Josh can grow because I'm pretty tall compared to him.
He is pretty tall. He's like 6'4".
But in the screen, you guys are the same size, so it's fine. You're only
The
little
wonder the
people in my
CGI.
screen. You're not real. I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
I mean, that's probably true. I mean, honestly, I'm probably just like some like doll that you just pretend is actually like animate and like talking to you, but in reality,
I feel like we're
it's
getting too far down the rabbit
All right,
hole.
let's get back. Let's get back to the game.
So-
I do have one thing to say.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you gotta learn when to pick up your packages, man. Yeah, it's not that hard. Is it 30 seconds before a dragon or 30 seconds before a baron? Yes. But he did it a minute and a half before either the Elder Dragon or the Baron spawned. What are you doing with it?
I feel like I always need to give the players the benefit of the doubt and like
No,
what
okay,
is
like Lennon,
what
you
is
can give
happening?
the players a lot of benefit of the doubt.
but
But
it's
this
not
is literally a
easy
simple
to.
checklist.
Yes.
It's a simple binary. What time is the next objective spawning? Is it within a minute? Yes? Okay, then I can grab package.
But it
if
makes
no,
you go
don't
really
grab package!
It makes you go really fast, and it looks really cool. It makes it noise. Like
It's
I don't know
This
what
is
you
why
want.
Corky looks like a balanced character.
Is that why? Is that?
That's why, because people don't package at the right times. It's so easy.
I think we've tilted. I think we've tilted.
Before we
Yoshi.
go too far down the route of just like, J-Man, what's going on? We got some highlights, but the other thing is, I want to give praise to Saligo throughout this game, because he was such a big part of their early game success. He came bottom lane 2, 3, 4 times, and while the first one was admittedly a disaster, after that, he figured out the issue. Oh, they needed to bring another person. He needed to actually go down there himself, and they find 3 straight ganks where they get at least 1 or 2 kills, and they end up trading 3 or 4 kills for 2 plates in the mid lane, and Saligo was consistently able to get out of the lane and actually affect the rest of the game.
Yeah, exactly that. I think even in the shortcomings of Evil Geniuses, you could see some of the setup and being able to see Saligo whip out the Lissandra and have some of those moments and make Jimmy and question some of the decision making potentially, but it still wasn't enough, I guess, and that does beg the next question of like, how do we see EG adapt? Because I did say, there were some high moments for Evil Geniuses. It was a 100 Thieves comeback in this one that won them the game. So I think it's hard to digest that, especially for a team like Evil Geniuses, where we've said they've had a little bit of a troubled past so far this split, but you've got to see that work going into the next game, Joshi.
And I kind of want to, put a little bit of context for, some of the players that we're looking at, right? For players who are North American or Oceanic, they don't take up an import slot, right? It doesn't take a whole lot to just plug and play them into a lot of our teams, right? And it's why players like Tenacity and Busio are looking so good, and why players like Will and BMFX, who are still like trying to cement themselves as strong players in Academy, we can give them a little bit more room. But we also have to look at players who are being imported, right? And, Jimian on this scaling Corki and Kaori on this Callista, well, they had a couple of highlights in this game. We have to hold them to a higher standard as well, right? And Kaori, he played the first half of the game really well, but then disappeared in the second half of the game. Jimian was there throughout most of the game, and you need to ask, if you can't do the first step, we need to see even more from that. And so I'm looking forward for Jimmy and Kaori proving me wrong and telling me, Josh, you need to shut up. We are some of the best players in all of Academy.
Well, hey, it's time to put up or shut up. We're going into game 2 of this second series of the day. So Magical, Joshi, let's see what happens.
We'll see if we get another 50-minute banger of a game going into game 2. We'll see. I mean, Josh is saying no, I am saying yes, so we'll honestly get a good look at how the teams are going. Because right now, same band started off the Volibear aimed at Tomio, one of his best played, as well as the Ezreal towards Kaori.
Yeah. And again, I want to look at Evil Geniuses and just say I liked their game plan, right? Surdy was able to challenge Tenacity throughout most of the early game in the Jace versus Fiora matchup. Tenacity has been very vocal about the fact that he thinks Fiora is blindable. Kaori Smoothie, Saligo Tomio did a fantastic job at preventing BMFX and Busio from being able to play until 25-30 minutes into that game, and they did a fantastic job roaming them down. Now, again, trust the process. Let's do it again. Let's run everything back through and just make sure we can actually make these plays happen. Though Sandra is still available for Saligo.
All the bans are the exact same for both teams. No change going into the second game. So for Evil Geniuses, they feel as though that was a good game. It was close. They fought as valiantly as they could, and it was just a couple mistakes that didn't net them the full victory, like you talked about. There was only one Nexus turret remaining for 100 Thieves. They were that close to taking the game off one of our top teams in Academy.
So we'll see. I mean, if you can go back, it looks to be the exact same draft, right? Zeri picked up for BMFX, Callista being grabbed. This was a Renata last time. It looks to be locked right on back. I mean, if I'm Evil Geniuses, I'm very happy to take the salty run back in that spot, right? The Zillion and Corki immediately slammed through. 100 Thieves committed to scaling. And Evil Geniuses, if they pick Lissandra here and just go for the salty run back, I like it, right? You just need to actually tighten up a couple of these fights. Don't give Will that triple kill to start. And from that position, you're going to win a lot of these games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised to see the salty run back. I think Evil Geniuses had a good game plan. Like you said, though, it was really difficult for them to even come back in a game when you have a Trundle that starts off with 3 kills, yet they did it. They were that close, and I think had they not had to overcome that hurdle, they might have actually been able to do a lot more. But one thing they do fear is Tenacity all on Fiora. You talked about how Tenacity feels that it's blind pickable. You saw the power that Tenacity has with that champion.
Yeah. And I always like to talk about, these drafts and kind of in terms of like chess openings, right? Like, we all knew what the previous draft was. This is the first wrinkle, and this is where you take your opponents out of prep and ask them the first new question. Like, what are you going to do now that you couldn't do this move that we knew you liked previously? And Evil Geniuses, they now have an opportunity, right? They can go back, they can grab the Poppy once again if they want to, lock down BMFX and Jimin, who actually had a little bit of a tough time trying to deal with the speed that Tomio's Poppy actually brought to the table. And without the Fiora to just kind of consistently split off on the sides, Suri will also be a little bit more comfortable.
And seeing a little bit of different flares here in the second part of the band, as we'd already talked about Fiora, but the double jungle ban. I'm curious to see how this top side of the match will change for both teams, because I feel like that Poppy was still pretty good. Just had that one falter at the very beginning of the game, and it's funny because 100 Thieves banned the exact same things. But there is one small change we already saw with the Fiora. That is Gangplank being left open. I'm curious to see whether or not Tenacity is willing to blind pick that.
I mean, I think he is, right? I was trying to think of, like, what does banning the Nara actually open up for Tenacity? And the Gangplank is really the only thing that comes to mind of something that he would like to pick. And Surdy can play it, right? Is it his most impressive thing? No, but they go right on back to the Poppy, and I'm expecting... Okay, there's no way you ban Nara and then pick Irelia.
No. I'm expecting the Gangplank still.
Oh, yeah, Belveth!
Oh, yeah. We haven't even seen Belveth, but I think the Trundle actually still was a good strategy in the Poppy. It still has that scaling. You get tankier and tankier when your enemy gets tankier and tankier. So you have a lot that you're able to utilize with that. But looking at the last pick, they're kind of just trolling us, just going through the whole list.
Yeah.
Because we know what we're expecting. Now, I want to shift the focus over to Surdy instead. Looking at how Surdy is going to react to the Gangplank.
Yeah. I mean, the Jace is still fine, right? It's still something where you can bully it around. The Lucian is a classic counter pick. The Nara taken off the table. I don't know what else I would want to see Surdy play in this position. I know he's a very good Camille, and Camille has a playable matchup. It's not great, but like it's playable into the Gangplank. And I kind of just think we're going to see a full run back from Evil Geniuses with the Gangplank the only new champion. No way.
Oh, it's Poppy top. Poppy top, Shyvana jungle.
Well, is it?
You're right, it's
right? That's the interesting thing. Like, is this Shyvana going to be going top lane? Is it going to be going into the jungle? Okay. Like, the only person I think of when I see this played in the jungle is Malice, right? Somebody who's just going to consistently be power farming. But this top lane champion has some really bad matchups into things like the Fiora, and I actually have never seen it played into the Gangplank. So I'm trying to piece together how it works in my head, and I feel like you can just run Gangplank down around level 6 before Gangplank really has enough points into the barrels. Like, before Gangplank hits level 13, I feel like Shyvana should have this really strong spike between level 6 and 9, where you're just uncontested.
I actually agree with you. I think that that's why we even see the Ignite there for Surdy. He is looking for those plays at level 6, kind of like when you have a Kali into a lot of the matchups in the top lane. It's pretty much a similar style, except obviously different builds.
But I'm also trying to figure out, like, will they enjoy playing the early parts of the lane? Because I feel like the answer is, like,
It's difficult.
not particularly, right? Because you don't necessarily win a lot of the trades. As long as Shyvana is not on top of Gangplank, Gangplank's not taking any damage, and Shyvana doesn't want to stand on top of the barrels, but the one thing is, like, as long as your Q is up, you can double hit a barrel and get 2 auto attacks off of it, or 3 effectively immediately, so... I'm curious to see how this counter pick works.
I am too, because we nearly had the salty run back for both teams. Only the top laners changing out what they're playing. So as we load up onto the Rift for our second game in this best-of-2 series between 100 Thieves Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy, it was a close-fought battle last time around. Does Evil Geniuses have the mental fortitude to bounce back from that loss?
Yeah. So, I'm looking at it right now, and it is, in fact, the most common matchup for Gangplank, or for Shyvana to go into Gangplank.
Really?
And it looks to me like it's a skill matchup. Based on what the internet is currently saying, somebody online might be like, no, it's really good if you do it like this, but this is the first time I've seen it. I don't play either of these characters.
I play whatever. I can play literally anything.
Do you hit the random button every single time?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's how I decide when I'm playing support.
Oh, there you go.
But
the
weirdest one was when I had Draven support. But full AP,
sure.
I got a kill.
Oh. Well, I'm sure your AD carry was very thrilled with the whole situation.
They were
But-
laughing, yeah.
The one thing that I do have to say about this pick coming out from Surdy is that I would be surprised if Tenacity has ever played this matchup.
How would you?
And it's definitely by adding a lot of variance to the game. One, Surdy's flanks are going to be very strong because of his ability to dive in, but it also creates more pressure on Evil Geniuses. They were winning the bottom side previously, but now they really want to pick up these dragons because they just make Surdy tankier.
Exactly. I'm expecting to see pretty much the same exact plays in the early stages of the game from Lingo and Tomio. I think that's you just go back to what's tried and true. BMFX and Busio, they didn't respect it each time. It happened 3 times last game, Josh. And only the first time did they turn it around. The other 2 times were completely Evil Genius's favor.
Yeah. And the first time was when Soligo was not there, so he's still got the Untilt Spellbook, he's still got the Ignite, still has opportunity to create a lot of pressure. And Jimian, for every single time, Soligo came down 3 times that we remember, and Jimian got 2 plates. We will track whether or not Jimian gets more or less based on what we saw from the previous game.
I have figured out why you play Shyvana into Gangplank. And I'll talk about that in a second because we have an invade. Tomio taking away the red buff from Will. We'll even get some chicken nuggets on the way out. Just drive by. And alright, this is what we get. Will, you're not really getting anything. You're getting pulled back in and possibly even getting killed with the smite not being enough to heal him back up. First blood for Cowrie as Tomio chases down Busio and BMFX. They'll be able to get away. They're pretty healthy. The 1 kill gifted to Cowrie is going to set up the spot lane massively.
There you go, and I think that's the kind of play that Evil Geniuses were looking to do in their first game, but they didn't get enough of a push in the bottom lane to actually make it work. So they take away 2 camps, they take away Will's life, and BMFX and Busio, remember, they're on Zillion's Zeri. They don't do anything to start the game. They don't do any damage, they don't have a lot of crowd control, and they just get chased off right away. So this is a fantastic start coming through from the side of Evil Geniuses.
Much better start to the game than the last game. And even the last game, they made it competitive.
Yeah.
So now, okay, I'm going to bring up why you play the Shyvana into Gangplank. Not for this.
Okay. Yeah, this part seems miserable.
It's the auto reset. Because if the barrel's put on top of you, you should almost always be able to guarantee that you kill it and not Gangplank.
That seems so hard.
It's
right?
very hard. I think it's a skill thing. But I was watching Surdy play it, and I was trying to gain an idea of why you want to do it. And I saw the auto reset on a barrel. I'm like, that's probably what the idea is. But it's very difficult. And you could already see that Tenacity is getting the better hand of this top lane.
Yeah. I know players like, Rafa, he's got a bunch of games on the Gangplank, and the thing about Gangplank is, if you do your barrels right, you can Phantom Barrel, right? You can do it where the barrel barely appears before it just blows up. It barely appears.
No, bad. Bad, Josh. You're dragging this down, man.
But in the meantime, Surdy's still going to just kind of be suffering, right? I think when he gets his ultimate, then this matchup should change a little bit because he
Agreed.
can actually get on top of Tenacity. But we're not there yet, and it's still a spot where Surdy is down a fair amount, and Soligo has had an opportunity to leave lane just quite yet.
Well, it's a pretty pitiful back that Sodi just had. Went back, got a Ruby Crystal, and TP back in the lane because he was getting pushed down that
poor.
far by Tenacity. Is very poor, so that's why a little bit of vision control is necessary to help out Surdy. But it's more so the team can play around the bot side, as we kind of called out before. They want to play around those dragons, and now Soligo rotating around with Tomio. But this time, the MFX and Busio have learned their lesson.
Yeah. How much did they actually lose? They lose about a wave, and it looks like Kaori will get this first plate.
Not quite.
Or maybe not. So, you know, they lose about 3 minions. So they don't lose a whole lot, but they don't lose their lives. And now, Evil Geniuses, as they start this up, remember that every single time your team picks up a dragon, even if you're not involved, Shyvana just gets a little bit tankier, a little bit of extra resistances, and that allows him to play the flank role much more effectively.
As well, it makes it a bit easier to play up against Gangplank.
Yeah.
Just that much, I mean, not fully, because you still have the true damage that can come in from passive of Gangplank. But it's a little bit easier for him to actually fight up aggressively, try to catch some of the minion waves, even stall out and freeze waves. Now that you're level 6, this is what we were talking about, the power of Shyvana against Gangplank. I'm curious to see when it actually comes through.
Ooh. Small miss. It feels as though Surdy wants to get like an item. There he goes. This is it.
There it is. Goes aggressively. That's a lot of damage, and the Ignite is ticking on Tenacity, who will live. But man, did he get bullied in that lane from just the first dragon.
But he heals up. He's still got a couple of cookies. He's got a corrupting potion. He's got oranges.
He's got oranges, so he should be okay. But still, you can see that Shyvana getting a little bit of the advantage back. Not falling as behind in CS as before. And again, the
There you
barrel.
go.
I was talking about that. That's why you play the Shyvana against Gangplank. You're level 6.
Yeah.
You've made it through the worst of it. And you're able to take away the barrel, so there's not really that much damage that Tenacity could do to you.
Soligo hovering towards the bottom side. Yeah, so Surdy, this is when he just becomes really fast and very difficult to deal with, right? He can just run at Tenacity, and Tenacity has to back up because he can't afford to just sit there and trade autos, especially if Shyvana lands the E. And so here we go, just running at him a little bit. He's already halfway back to his next ultimate.
Exactly. Just more autos you get, and it's better. And now bot lane, again, the rinse and replay play, but without Soligo, the flash comes in from Busio to survive.
So, good job from the 100 Thieves bottom lane, not falling prey to the same plays, but they are similarly falling behind in terms of how much gold and how many minions they're actually able to pick up so far. At the same time, no plate streak going over. That's a win for 100 Thieves relative to where they were last time.
Yeah, it is a bit of a win. But still, you're down pretty far in CS. BMFX only level 5 to level 6 from Kaori. Down a good amount of gold, so now that Kaori's gone back, got the Noon Quiver built up as well as the Berserker's Greaves. This lane's just going to get more and more hostile for Zeri.
And it feels so bad to say that, oh, they're only down 3 waves and only lost 2 plates? Yeah, that's a win.
It is a win. It is a win in this
that feels rough.
in this lane. That is a big one because the turret's still up. You still got your life to your name. The only problem now is, does Evil Geniuses go for the same play and actually make it work next time?
Yeah. And Evil Geniuses, they're playing the rest of the map in a very, again, stock standard. This is how they've won a lot of their games. It's how they beat both Golden Guardians and TSM last week. They just play these very simple plays. They don't necessarily have to put too much thought into them because this is stuff that people have been doing for literal years at this point. And so BMFX and Busio, they don't come up because they know that they wouldn't necessarily contribute a whole lot to this actual play, and Tomio is going to be able to get it all by himself.
Can I just say, it's still weird to think how old League of Legends is. I've been playing this game since 2010, and so it's just like, to imagine I've been playing a game for 12 years. It's just, wow.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody recently about how I have not played Counter-Strike in a decade at this point. Like that was weird. But we'll get back into that. We can do more boomer reminiscing after this game. As 100 Thieves, they're down about 1,000 gold, and I feel like their big test their big test will again be later in the game, right? If 100 Thieves give up this dragon and the next dragon, and okay, they're definitely giving up this next dragon because Gangplank just ulted top lane.
Oh.
But as long as they don't lose too many turrets, as long as they're within about 3,000 gold by the time they actually hit the third dragon, 100 Thieves are still like very happy to continue playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw the scaling work for them last game, and it's a very similar scaling. Gangplank fits well into the role Fiora did before, and everything else is the same. They got the scaling still on their side, but the thing is, it's these early game plays. Busio took a lot of damage and got expunged. That damage from Cowrie was insane. Now Fate's Call to see if they can turn it around.
They're all here.
They've got the Keeper's Verdict. Bye-bye, Will. It's BMFX that's going to fall.
We don't want you. We want this hurt. We want this kill. And Cowrie and Smoothie coming alive once again. This is what we like to see. We know that Cowrie can be one of the best marksmen. He had a great start last game, and then later on in the game, I mean, he got a little bit outscaled. But now they're already 3,000 gold up. They're going to be hitting the dragon here as soon as they reset. They get a crash on the second turret.
Ooh, that's good for the side of Evil Geniuses right there. You're talking about how 100 Thieves need to stop, make sure that they're not falling too far behind. First brick picked up for Evil Geniuses, as well as getting a secondary charge in that bot lane with the dragon to be secured by Evil Geniuses. Seems like this early game, much, much cleaner out of them. They learned their lessons of not trying to fight really willy-nilly right out the gates.
Yeah. And Tomio, at the same time, I feel like he feels so enabled by his lanes because he knows that every single lane could come if they wanted to. That this is the third, or at least the second objective that he's gotten without anybody else really coming by. Like, yeah, Smoothie came through and he technically soloed it with his buddies, but Evil Geniuses, they're just getting everything on the map.
Yeah. Getting a lot of pressure.
Wow.
Oh, that was a cool cinematic
There we
guy
go.
in the bot lane.
Some Lornomancy coming through. I mean, really good stuff overall. Oh, it's another one. Meow. Leche fandom.
No. I mean, honestly, that was just a good play from Tomio. Keeper's Verdict, that's pretty much the best use you could ever have. Say, all right, tank, bye-bye. We kill ADC
Bye-bye.
now. You can't do anything disabled.
Oh.
Ooh, that was Lingo. Took a lot of damage there from Jimian. Got to be a little bit more cautious, especially if you're going to eat all those missiles. Now that Jimian's got a little bit of a foothold into this mid lane, might be something that Evil 100 Thieves can actually utilize. Utilize the fact that Sleeko's not going to have the easiest time pushing in the lane against Jimian.
Yeah, and I also got to respect Jimian a little bit there, right? He saw the Ignite, held the cleanse, saw the ultimate, held the cleanse, and Sligo not really able to bring enough damage. So Jimian doing a good job actually playing this laning phase. He hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to do much more than that, but he has gotten the 2 plates just like he did last time. So, you know, he's doing A-okay.
As Surdy trying to steal away some of the Krugs from Will, who was able to get the smite secured. But Surdy in this matchup, it's past that level 6 to level 9 that you were talking about. It's now level 10. I don't think it's going to stop. I think that this is still a powerful situation for Surdy, especially with 2 dragons secured by his team.
Yeah. All right, Magical, I got a question for you because
I might have an answer.
Shyvana Top has a couple of different builds, right? You got the Blade of the Ruin King build, you got the Titanic Hydra, you can go Demonic Embrace. What version do you think we're getting from Surdy?
Frostfire.
Okay, but after that.
Another Frostfire.
Another Frostfire.
No, I'm imagining it's just going to be more tanky. Just keep being the front line for the team. Right now, they are looking to play aggressively onto Will. Jimian split from the team with the cannon barrage completely going wide. The flash away, but Will, he's got the Chrono Shift on top of him. Heal. Might be able to save his life. Where's the Ren? There it is. Timed out. No Chrono Shift available. And now they can turn the fight around. Double kill for Cowrie.
There you go, Cowrie, still the frontline Callista, just walking right up to the members of 100 Thieves, and their champions still aren't online yet. A lot of them don't do real damage, and Cowrie knows that. He's just able to move around them in fantastic ways. It feels like Cowrie comes through, he's angry, he's ready to play. And look, again, he's in the front, right? And nobody can really do enough damage to him. Even by the time BMFX joins, it's just a matter of waiting for Will. And there's the Ren, like you said, pops him from a huge amount of HP. And it's just Cowrie running amok.
Gallery's running amok. He's now 4-0 on Callista, and gargantuan lead over BMFX on Zeri. It's going to be some time before we see this team from 100 Thieves come online. And with the early game going so much better for Evil Geniuses, this feels like their game to completely, totally win out against 100 Thieves, where 100 Thieves don't seem like they have many options to them.
I was about to yell at Jimmy again, but he gets a pass this time because the Rift Herald did just spawn. And 100 Thieves, they now need to play for it, otherwise it's a wasted package.
I agree. They're being cautious. They are, the package used for mobility. A bit rough. Asserti was able to get a lot more damage onto this tier 2 in the bot lane. Tenacity is struggling with this matchup. It could be the inexperience of knowing how to play against it, or it could just be that Asserti. He's been practicing this a lot on his own, making sure that he knows the matchup
it's official,
so well.
A wasted package.
Yeah. I said that. You use it for mobility.
I know. It's not hard. It's like, I understand a lot of champions have like weird mechanics that make it difficult to play them. This isn't one of them, you guys. This really isn't one of them.
Right.
But
we need to have an intervention with all the academy mid laners, and just like,
I'm serious.
just for Josh's sake, because I feel like he's gonna have an aneurysm.
I really am. But
anyways,
6,000,
yes.
5,000 gold.
Yes.
Evil Geniuses are in the lead. I said that if they were within about 3,000 gold by the time the third dragon spawned, they would be happy with their position. They are beyond that. They are not happy. They are in fact sad, is what that means. And as Evil Geniuses threaten to pick up their third straight dragon as Tomio walks over without a contest coming through from 100 Thieves, let's remember that while the dragons themselves are nice, but Shyvana is also scaling up every single time they get one.
Yep, and it looks like it should be the Demonic Embrace build for Asserti. Going for a little bit of taking this build, a little bit more damage to burst down Tenacity as a third dragon of the game is secured by Evil Geniuses. At the moment, this is looking kind of dire for 100 Thieves. I'm really struggling to find a way that they can possibly win this game, because they relied so heavily on scaling beforehand to win them out. This time, they're not even going to get close to that.
Yeah, if they can pull out some miracles again, right? If they can just show that they have better hands at during these fights, at some point Evil Geniuses does need to break the base of 100 Thieves. And going into the wave clear of Zillion Corki Gangplank, that's a tall task for them to try and actually make happen. And that is when we will get to see if 100 Thieves scaling is going to be enough to overcome the monstrous deficit that they have currently found themselves in. They've lost 2 turrets bottom lane. They've lost the mid lane turret. The map is opening up, and as Kaori takes away all of Tomio's jungle, because Tomio has been taking away Will's jungle, they're going to be going top lane. They're going to be opening that up once again, and they still have the Rift Herald available to them.
Funneling more and more gold into Kaori's pockets. His coffers are quite filled at the moment, and I'm not saying a real good way for them to deny him all this gold that he's accruing for himself, because he's already got a full item advantage over BMFX. And if he's able to take another turret, they're just going to end up ballooning up to 2.5.
That's bad, right? If this Zeri never comes online, and like 100 Thieves just like do not have the consistent damage to get through Tomio and Surti, you need BMFX to be able to do the damage, but for most of the games, he hasn't necessarily been doing the damage that we have been looking for the AD carry of such a prestigious team to actually do. He really has been needing like great setups from the rest of the 100 Thieves roster in order to find the damage.
And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. Still need to scale, still need to keep up with Evil Geniuses, who are outpacing them in every single lane. He even talked about cracking open the base for Evil Geniuses, whether or not they could. One big factor that is going to enable that is Rift Herald, but also is Shyvana. Shyvana, people always forget that when she was top lane all the time, it was all about the split push.
Good Tomio.
And it was just making sure the crash happened.
It was pretty funny, though, not gonna lie. He just like runs through, is like, okay, goodbye, we out of here.
Hey, he's pretty tanky at this point.
Pretty tanky.
Hard to kill Tomio pretty quickly. While on the other side, they deny Jimmy's escape. He uses Cleanse to try to get out of there, flashing as well with a Chrono Shift on top of him. He's not burned just yet. Still holding on. Will survive. But Evil Geniuses, they get a lot of sums out of 100 Thieves.
True, the Flash and the Cleanse currently down from Jimian. And that means that the next fight is going to mean that they can't do whatever they want with it. So now Evil Geniuses, I feel bad, right? If, as a jungle, Will's just going to relive a rough time.
Yeah, I mean, right there, he's like, oh, okay, we have 3 members. We can stop Tomio from taking my wolves, right? Right?
Kind of.
Right?
You know, we secured some of them as Kaori. Okay, somebody has to kill it. Okay, thank you, Serdi.
There we go.
It's got the Demonic Embrace as well. Going to be doing a lot of damage, and I thought he was going to hop the wall right there, but there's no package available just quite yet, and Evil Geniuses are going to start hitting this.
Wow.
Remember, Serdi's got an extra 20 armor, 20 magic resist, and Saligo playing goalie.
Yeah, with the Callisto wailing away
It's too
at
late.
Baron, it is way too late. You've committed TP for nothing. The fight wasn't even there, and now Evil Geniuses could be the ones looking for the fight with Soligo starting it off. They've got the dragon in the midst of everybody, and they're ripping apart 100 Thieves.
And Evil Geniuses, yet again,
Fireball.
with a very simple game plan, are tearing apart one of the top teams that we've seen. This team in Week 4 beat Team Liquid. This team was able to take Team Liquid to 5 games in spring. 100 Thieves are not a team to be taken lightly, and Evil Geniuses is strangling them.
They are doing a great job, and most of that is off Soligo. This engage is again, just massive from this mid lane.
Yeah. I mean, just watching that he takes the time to throw out the Q first when he comes in, you can tell that nobody on 100 Thieves wants to hit him because they just expect him to ult at any moment. And Soligo uses that time to get in a little bit of extra damage. Soligo has been so pivotal to the way that they've played. And, you know, the only other person that I really am looking at right now that has had a big impact on this game is Kaori. He's able to provide so much space for Tomio to hit the dragon, to hit the Rift Herald, to hit the dragon, then hit the dragon again, right? Tomio has been enabled so much by this bottom lane, and I wonder, have all the issues that we were looking at from Evil Geniuses before, where they were struggling to find their synergy, has that been solved by their break?
Maybe. Even last game, it was a nail-biter. 50-minute long game, 51-minute long game, mind you. They nearly were able to take 100 Thieves down, but now 100 Thieves are looking to see if they can still fight back. They've got scaling on their side, and with Hexel completed by Evil Geniuses, this is dangerous territory for 100 Thieves, even if you're grouped up.
And Evil Geniuses, while they're threatening to make plays happen on the bottom side, are also going to be taking away the top side jungle to get the mid lane turret. They're pushing in the mid. They have a top wave coming. Evil Geniuses have done everything correct, and now we said at some point they're going to have to break the base.
And here it is, their attempt to break the base. Will getting a little bit of damage onto Slico, but he had barrier in his inventory to be able to use that, and the Frozen Tomb with a lot of damage onto Will. But keep in mind, Shirty hasn't joined in the fight, and they've lost Slico.
Perfect game no longer as Saligo does go down, but this turret might still fall anyway.
So that's a lot of damage onto the members of Evil Geniuses. Jimian, level 13, starting to hurt. He's got 2 items completed. That's going to be the pillar to interrupt Smoothie, but he's pulled back by Fate's Call.
Evil Geniuses, on their first attempt to breach the walls, they have been rebuffed by 100 Thieves. And that gives more time. Jimian's level 13. Tenacity is level 14. He's already maxed out those barrels. Has got 2 items completed. The game plank is going to start to hurt. But the player who's still lagging behind, BMFX, does not do damage at this point in the game. He has Immortal Shield Bow, and Kaori has that, plus Gwinsu's, plus Ruinen's Hurricane.
He's essentially got 2 items open.
Disgusting. It makes me think of the Pugmon.
Yeah. Well, you can say that in a minute, because Kaori's about to play Horizon, BMFX 2, which is even worse. Not only is he 5-0-2, got 2 items fully up on BMFX, is so close to getting a Flame Horizon against this new ADC to the split. BMFX struggling to find this foothold against Kaori, who's playing out of his mind in these last 2 games.
He's been playing quite well early on, and now we need to make sure that he doesn't fall invisible yet again like he did last game.
But I have
100
a feeling
Thieves,
with that kind of gold lead, he'll still be relevant
I don't think
for a
it's
while.
likely to happen.
Yeah.
But these turrets, they've taken a beating. Saligo picks up the barrel, and Evil Geniuses, they do need to take one of these. Like, once one of these turrets goes down, it's so much easier to get into the rest of the base. But they do need to find the first one.
They almost got it in the mid lane. Pretty low still. Waiting for minion waves, but without that Baron on their backs is going to be a little bit more difficult. Instead, they might have to just play for time. Wait 2 minutes until they can get that Baron, or they can just bully all in, getting the punt away so Cowrie can take down the first inhibitor turret.
And now 100 Thieves with their base exposed. It is almost 25 minutes. You have 2-item Corki, level 14. But we're also trying to buy time, right? There's a minute and a half left before the Baron, and Evil Geniuses, I feel like the Hextech Soul is enough. It's just enough combat stats to override the fact that we've been praising 100 Thieves for how good their mechanics are, for how good they are at actually playing out some of these team fights. Hextech Soul gives you that slow, it gives you a little bit of extra damage across the entire team, and it just makes it very difficult for the members of 100 Thieves to actually maneuver in these fights. And Tenacity doesn't have the mobility that he had on the Fiora now that he's on the Gangplank. He can't go from target to target the same way.
Well, and where we talk about Kalista being troubling against in trouble against Zillion, right? Because of the slows. Well, that applies to Zarya as well. Having that slow from Hextech Dragon will slow down Zarya and make it so that there's even less damage being pumped out of an ADC that's already doing negligible damage.
True. Does have the runes completed, but Cowrie is like, okay, well, I got a Bloodthirster now. What are you going to do about it? But Surdy, he's down here on the side lane, right? I wonder if he's ever just going to jump on Tenacity again. After that first ultimate, we've seen one other in a team fight, but we haven't necessarily seen him being aggressive. It's mostly just pushing out waves and taking away jungle camps.
It feels like that's all he needs to do anyways. He's doing a good job of containing Tenacity, making sure Gangplank's not really joining in the fights. Even like you talked about it before. Cannon Brush was used initially on the wave. That forfeited another dragon to Evil Geniuses. And now Evil Geniuses, if they can do the same thing in the spot lane, keep Tenacity pinned here, makes it a little bit easier for the rest of the team to look to secure Baron.
Yeah. Okay. Jimin has the package. He's expecting a fight over this Baron. Evil Geniuses
He's only got
aren't
it for
giving it to
like
him.
10 more seconds though.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it for very long. With Tomio possibly being caught out. Same with Soligo. The blast going over the wall. When do they pull the trigger? Jimin's already got the TV coming in with Tenacity on the other side. He uses it just getting a little bit of distance with the TV behind them. A little bit of a fight. Soligo has found his target. Will is the one they want with the dragon soaring into the back line so they can chase down with the knockup from Smoothie. Hostile takeover as well. BMFX will fall again. Double kill from Cowrie. Nearly a clean ace. They just need Tenacity, and there it is. Clean ace for Evil Geniuses.
And Evil Geniuses demolishing 100 Thieves in 2 early games back to back. This has to be a confidence boost for them. They come up with these crazy picks. Cowrie and Smoothie dominating BMFX and Busio. They take away so much of Will's jungle, and Soligo finding yet another victory here on the Lissandra.
And what a turnaround. Normally you look at a hard game like game 1 where they lost 50 minutes into the game, and it's a difficult prospect to bounce back into. You always have that difficult time of finding a way and an angle to get back in the second game, but here are Evil Geniuses crushing one of our top teams in Academy, taking it 1-1 against 100 Thieves. Evil Geniuses, what a bounce back from the break, and what a way to start off from break.
Good stuff. Honestly, when I see a team like Evil Geniuses and the way that they go from game 1 into game 2 and recognize that they are just trusting the process, that gives me a lot of hope for Evil Geniuses. I was hoping this team would move up towards the top of the standings like we saw in spring. We know that this team has not been equal to the sum of their parts for so much of summer, but now taking down 100 Thieves, it's a little bit of a glimpse. They've now won 4 of their last 6 games. And that is huge considering that they came into today having only won 7 games in the first place.
Exactly. So now we're starting to see those expectations meet with reality. We're getting the Evil Geniuses we know they're capable of. And with that 1-1 victory, we're going to toss it to a break so that Mazel can interview one of the Evil Geniuses members. Make sure you stay tuned. Okay, I gotta rewind.
We gotta dance like the Gangplank in the end of the last game.
Okay, and now we forward.
Yo ho!
Yep. So now we fast forward. Same thing I said before. Break time.